second meeting of the Mayor and Council of the City of Roswell. I'd like to call Ryan Corley forward to lead us in the pledge. If we'd all stand and face the flag, please. Ryan, if you'll come forward. Ryan is not here yet. All right. Do I see a Boy Scout hiding back there? I thought we were supposed to have some Boy Scouts back there. All right. I'm not sure we have any. Well, this is who I'm going to invite forward. I'm going to invite Bradley Hugh to come forward and lead us in the. Bradley, if you would come forward. There's Bradley. Bradley, if you would face the flag and lead us all in the Pledge of Allegiance. All you have to say is "I," and then we'll carry it from there. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And Brian, if you would remain up here, I would like to invite all the winners in the Drippy Dropperson campaign to come forward. And Janet Lieberman, are you going to be introducing everybody? Who's in charge of this?
Well, I am, but if they could maybe stay back here and I could get my helpers up here, that would be
Well, we've got them up here. It's too late to send them back. They're out of the bag.
No, just stay right here. Just stay right here. You're good. And Charlie, and Sue, and Axel. Okay. All right. Okay, well, this is our 5th year for holding the Drippy Dropperson Coloring Book Contest, and these are our 12 winners. When I call your name, if you gentlemen will move back here, if you will go around, and one of these gentlemen, they're going to give you a coloring book to hand to one of the people up there, but they're also going to give you a special shirt that has your drawing on it. So, let's start with Emma Gladue. Where are you, Emma? Okay. Emma Johnson.
Thank you, Emma. Thank you.
Kaya Atkins. Taylor Brunning. Berard Garud. Huh? You're giving it to Betty. Angel Mansour. Ansley Hollingsworth. Michael Burkett. Mary Foltz. Riley Jatko. Emma Hirose. A lot of Emmas tonight. Very talented Emmas. And last but not least, Bradley Hugh, whose drawing was also chosen to be on the front of the coloring book. Okay. Now we need everybody, mayor and council, we would like to invite you to come down and have your pictures taken with the winners. And this is Karen. Y'all do what she says. And parents, you're welcome. Paparazzi.
Say one more time. Yeah, absolutely. Stay where you are because we have a lot of parents who want pictures.
All right, good. One more hit for the winner. I'd like to invite Chief Spencer to come forward.
Mr. Mayor?
Along with... we haven't finished yet.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Because we have our youthful winners who are encouraging us to conserve water, I wanted to call attention to the Mayor's Challenge for water conservation.
Do we have a video yet?
We do.
I haven't seen it yet.
Mayor Wood, use a broom to sweep off that sidewalk instead of that hose.
Hi there, Grippy. Great idea. Thank you.
That's better. Mayor Wood, don't waste water washing just a few of your bow ties. Wait until you have a full load to do laundry.
Drippy, that's a great idea. Thank you. I will wait until I get a full load.
Mayor Wood, please use the dishwasher. The dishwasher only uses 8 to 12 gallons of water to get the job done. Doing them by hand takes 20. And fill that dishwasher full before you start it.
So, Drippy, I can do it the easier way and save water too?
Yep.
Well, Drippy, that's a great idea. Thank you so much. Hi, I'm Mayor Wood. Drippy has helped me save a lot of water. Sign up for the Mayor's Challenge Pledge today, and let's all save a precious resource.
It's easy. Just go to mywaterpledge.com to sign the pledge. You'll be eligible to win a Toyota Prius, a $1,000 shopping spree at Lowe's, a custom sprinkler system, and much more.
Come on, Roswell, do your part.
Let's all be water smart.
So, Mr. Mayor, the question I have for the audience who have not perhaps yet signed up for the water pledge, we have until April the 30th to do that, and so are you as smart as a third grader?
So what do we, the city gets some sort of, we're in some sort of competition.
We're in competition. The last I understood, we were number 5 in the nation for our category and for percentage of participation. So if we get people to check off what they are willing to do for water conservation, turn off the water when they're brushing their teeth, all of the things that are included in these coloring books, then we can win the prize.
So how do we do this?
Go online to mywaterpledge.com, and you can just follow that there. And if you enjoyed the video, you can go on the city website, roswellgov.com, click on H2O Conservation Challenge, and you can watch it as many times as you want.
Thank you so much.
So, thank you,
Let's
Mr.
have a
Mayor.
hand for the folks who produced that video. I'd like to invite Chief Spencer to come forward, along with Ryan Corley, and we have a recognition for Mr. Corley. You're supposed to do the
I'm the
recognition.
man.
You're the man.
Okay. A few weeks back, is that correct? Ryan was, and I'm going from the news reports. Ryan was working at a job over in one of our apartment complexes and heard someone screaming for help. And he stopped what he was doing, and the Good Samaritan he was, he rendered aid to a child that was in distress, and the child had a great outcome. And it's very important that people learn how to do CPR, learn how to open someone's airway, and render aid when aid is needed. So what Ryan did was very admirable, and we appreciate him doing that because it saved us some work when we got there. So what he did was, as a Good Samaritan, is appreciated by us, the fire department, by the city, and especially by the child and the mother that you helped save that child's life. So for that, thank you very much. Appreciate what you do. Keep up the good work.
Ryan, where did you learn emergency procedures?
About 15 years ago.
Where and what was the occasion?
Well, I'm a service technician, so I've worked for a couple of companies, and we had a lady come out and show us CPR due to the guys that do water repairs and sewer repairs for dig-ups. We have to know those safety courses just in case one of those guys go into stress or anything like that, as far as heat goes, or as far as hopefully it doesn't happen.
So is this the first time in 15 years you had to use what you learned?
Yes, sir.
I'm glad you took the course, and I'm even gladder that you kept it, that knowledge after 15 years. What I learned in Boy Scouts about life-saving is not only obsolete, I've forgotten all of it. Because fortunately, I have not had to be in that occasion to render aid. So, Chief, maybe the council and I need an upgrade. Let's have a hand for Ryan Corley. Thank you, Ryan. And having mentioned Boy Scouts, they came in late, but we always make the Boy Scouts who appear here come to the podium to introduce themselves. So young men, if you'll come to the podium and give us your name and what troop you're with and what brings you here tonight in uniform.
Hi, my name's Jack Owen. I'm in Troop 1776, and I'm here for the Citizenship and the Community Merit Badge.
My name's James Owen. I'm from Troop 1776, and I'm here for the same reason.
James, where does Troop 1776 meet?
Marietta, Georgia.
Well, we're so pleased that you chose Roswell over Marietta, and I hope you come back to Roswell more often. Let's have a hand for the Boy Scouts. Thank you, gentlemen. Always have a seat. That's all we put you through. We have the Centennial High School winning 5 awards at the Model United Nations Conference. Do we have any representatives of Centennial High School here tonight? If you would come forward, do we have anyone else from Centennial High? It looks like you have some friends with you.
These are some of the representatives from our team.
Come forward, representatives of the team.
Hi, my name is Anna Squires. I'm a senior at Centennial High School, and I'm part of the Model United Nations team. We have Eric Beeler, Nikki Freeman, and Sarah Hansen, who are also members of our team, and we are representing Centennial tonight. If you didn't know what Model United Nations is, then it is a simulation of the true United Nations, which of course meets in New York. And Model United Nations is a program that middle school students, high school students, and even college students participate in all over the world. It is an academic simulation, and students learn about foreign affairs, foreign policy, negotiation, and they really sharpen their research and debate skills when they meet at tournaments to represent countries of the United Nations. And we've had a very exciting year this year with our team. We've won 5 awards at very competitive tournaments this year. At the Georgia Tech Model United Nations, we placed 3rd with an honorable mention representing the country of France. At the Southern United States Model United Nations at Emory, we won the Award of Distinction, which is 1st place. There were, I think, over 2,000 students there. We were very pleased with that. At the University of Georgia Model United Nations Conference, we also placed 1st. At the Harvard Model United Nations, 10 of us represented Centennial for the first time at that conference, and we won the Best Small Delegation, which is the premier award that we could have gotten in that category. Extremely pleased with that one. And very recently in New York, at the National High School Model United Nations Conference, we also placed 1st out of 3,000 students. So we've had an incredibly exciting year, and we just wanted to share some of our successes with you tonight.
Well, we're proud not only 5 awards, but the did y'all get better as you went along? It seems like you started with 3rd and then 1st and then 1st and then 1st. If you could give us a sense of what was the secret for winning all of these awards?
Well, we have a very unique method in our team. We don't have any team captains. What we do is we have a system of head delegates, where a senior delegate such as Nikki or Eric or I will be the liaison between Eric Medwed, our coach, and the rest of the team members, and we'll sort of coach them through the process and teach them public speaking tips and research tips and try to encourage them on the way. So we're really a very self-directed team. We bring in our friends and people we think would be good for the team from our school, and I think we just foster a really great sense of not seeking awards, but seeking to be better citizens of the world and more informed citizens of the world. And I think that's the secret to our success.
Well, given that you're good citizens of the world, I know that you're good citizens of Roswell. So we'll ask Eric this question. Eric, what did you learn from this experience? What was the major takeaway that you had?
The major takeaway, I guess, is learning that whenever you have differences, there is always compromise. I think the best representation I've ever done was when I was Iran in the First Committee on Disarmament and Nuclear Proliferation. It was definitely a challenging task when I was being bombarded by 180 delegates asking if I had nuclear weapons, and I had to deny all claims. But it was very interesting because you can get any side and you have to represent it and you have to argue it, and you can have 2 delegates, one representing Egypt and one representing the United Kingdom, or one representing Saudi Arabia and one representing China, and you have to learn that there has to be compromise, because if one single block or one single region isn't enough to get something done around the world. So in that regard, I think it's so interesting to see that, even in the city of Roswell, we have so many different types of people and so many different belief systems, and we all have to figure out a way to work together to live in a sense of harmony. And I think that's how the world is, and I think that's how Model United Nations is, and I think it teaches us that in a lot of ways.
Well, we have a lot to learn from you. I think my council would love to get their picture taken with you all. If you'd come forward, the council would love to get their picture taken. Council? See if you can pick up some tips out here. And I will try the same. I will do much better to try to compromise in the future. So what are the plans for next year? Even greater. Even greater. Get the back here. We'll get let's get the
Okay, stay compromised. 1, 2, 3. We got one more. 1, 2, 3. Very good. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Congratulations. Very cool. Eric. Kay, do I call upon you for the EARN program? And this is our first recognition, and we're proud to have this come forward.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. The EARN program, which is Employees Acting on Roswell's Needs, was approved by Mayor and Council last August. And the program was created to provide employees an opportunity to explore and introduce ideas which will create cost savings or efficiency. So we are very excited tonight to have the first 3 employees whose ideas have been submitted and approved by the EARN Board. The EARN Board is comprised of staff members from each of the 8 departments, and each person submitting an idea comes before the EARN Board and explains their ideas. And then working closely with Finance, Keith Lee, the Finance Director, is here tonight. I'd like to go ahead and ask him to come up and talk specifically about each one of the submissions. But each submitter comes before the EARN Board and makes a presentation, and the EARN Board deliberates. There are certain specifications of the program regarding the cost savings, and then for those that might not provide cost savings but have a time or cost efficiency in them, then there's an opportunity for persons to not be awarded dollars but to be awarded time off. So Keith, do you want to go over the 3 that we have? And 2 of the employees are here. 1 could not be here tonight, so we're going to recognize the 2. And I'm certain they would love to have their picture taken, Mr. Mayor, as well, with the Mayor and Council.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Tonight we have Terry Brambilio with us. She is, Terry, if you want to step up, we'll walk through what her proposal is. Terry, we participate in the Metropolitan Water Planning District, and we have a toilet rebate program. The City of Roswell issues a paper check for those rebates, and Terry submitted a request that we change from issuing a paper check to giving a rebate on the utility account, which has a direct savings in terms of printing the check and postage, as well as the time involved in the employee processing the check request. So we will simply begin putting a credit on the utility account for our customer in the future. And
great idea. Thank you.
Hang around for a second. So I'm going to skip to the 3rd proposal, and this is from Jason Downs and Brady Hill. They're also with us tonight, if you guys will step up. They work in our Stormwater Environmental Public Works Department, and they submitted an idea that instead of disposing of the pipe that we repair for stormwater systems, that we begin a recycling program. So we would essentially have a container at the water plant, and instead of taking the pipe to the landfill, they would bring it back to the water plant and put it in the container, and a recycling company will pick it up. This has a direct savings on our landfill cost, will increase revenue, as well as an efficiency measure for our employees and the time that it would take for them to take the pipe disposal to the landfill.
Great job.
This is Brady and Jason. The 3rd was submitted by Julie Breckbill, and it is to move from paper editions to electronic editions of our subscription services for things like the AJC or the Atlanta Business Chronicle. This has a savings of both direct cost as well as the distribution of those paper copies. So Julie submitted that idea, and all 3 of these were approved by the EARN Board.
I want to congratulate all of y'all on this. They are simple ideas, but it's clearly one that we did not have until you brought it to our attention, and I think the simplicity of the idea is why it works. It just makes sense. And the great thing about this program is, in government, in the bureaucracy, sometimes nobody's watching these details and nobody's making common sense decisions, but this really makes a way to bring common sense into the system and saves all of our citizens money and time. And on behalf of the Mayor and Council, we want to thank you for saving money and time, and we hope that you keep it up. And as Kay said, we'd love to have our picture taken with common sense people with good ideas to make our government better. Council, could we join them? Absolutely. Let's have a hand for these people before we come down.
And I should say, notice what department these folks are with.
It's a simple idea, but it's a great idea. Yes, thank you. Chris, absolutely.
Everyone's
Get right
squeezing.
in. Right there, right there.
1, 2, 3. And one more. Smile. Great, thank you.
Thank you. Keep the eyes. And now the fun begins. For all those who wondered what we were doing for the first 30 minutes, that was getting the business out of the way. Do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda? So moved. Motion by Councilman Orleans. Is there a second? Second by Councilman Eigelhart. Does anyone have any questions regarding the consent agenda? All in favor of the motion, raise their hands. Passes unanimously. Next item on the agenda is in the Community Development Department, so I'd like to call upon the liaison to that department, Councilmember Nancy Diamond.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The first item is approval of an appeal to the Article 7.1 Standard Construction Specifications, Section 2.1.6A of the City of Roswell Code of Ordinances. This item was deferred from the April 8th Mayor and Council meeting, and Ms. Wakefield will tell us about it.
This is a request of Mr. Kevin McDuffie, who lives at 775 Windmark Court. Mr. McDuffie is appealing Section 2.1.6A of the Standard Construction Specification, which only allows second curb cuts on the lot that does not allow a second curb cut. I can't say that. Curb cut on lots that are less than 200 feet. Mr. McDuffie would like to put in a circular driveway. We presented to you in your package two options. The preferred option is option 1. That's where you have the second curb cut. The second option, he would not need to appeal the standard, but that gives him limited circulation for his vehicles. And I think Mr. McDuffie is, well, I thought he was going to be here, is here.
Does staff have a recommendation?
Our recommendation is approval. It's been reviewed by the Department of Transportation, and they have no problem with this request.
Does the council have any questions for staff? Councilmember Diamond.
Ms. Wakefield, if we approve it, then they can do whichever option. You don't need us to pick an option?
No.
Okay.
They just need to obtain their encroachment permit from the Department of Transportation.
Any other questions? Do we have a motion?
Move to approve.
Motion for approval by Councilmember Diamond. Is there a second? Second by Councilmember Price. Does anyone in the audience have any questions or comments? All in favor of the motion, raise their hands. Passes unanimously.
Next item is approval of an amendment to Chapter 5, Building and Construction, Section 5.3.1A, Building and Technical Codes of the City of Roswell Code of Ordinances. This is the second reading.
Okay. Thank you. This, as was mentioned, this is the second reading for an amendment to Chapter 5 of the Codes for Building and Construction. This request is for the approval of the National Green Building Standards, and I've included in the proposed ordinance ordinance that this is a voluntary for those applicants that are seeking green certification. This request is one of those items that we need to have in order to pursue the gold certification through the Atlanta Regional Commission. And I want to emphasize this is truly a voluntary ordinance. It is only required if a builder determines that they want to pursue the gold certification. And staff's recommendation is approval.
Mr. Davidson, would you read the ordinance, please?
Thank you. This is an ordinance to amend Chapter 5, Building and Construction, Sections 5.3.1a of the City of Roswell Code of Ordinances. Now therefore, be it ordained by the Mayor and Council of the City of Roswell, pursuant to their authority, they hereby adopt the following ordinance. Article 5.3.1a, Building and Technical Codes, adopted by reference of the Roswell Code of Ordinances, is hereby amended by adding the following to read as follows, text of which is incorporated herein by reference, and if approved, this would be the second reading.
Do we have a motion for approval?
Move to approve second reading.
Motion for approval by Councilmember Diamond. Is there a second? Second by Councilmember DiPolito. Does anyone in the audience have any questions or comments? All in favor of the motion, raise their hands. Passes unanimously.
Next is approval of a resolution for a voluntary building green policy to support the recertification application for the Atlanta Regional Commission's Green Communities Program.
Okay. This is a resolution establishing a voluntary green building policy for the City of Roswell. As was mentioned, this will further assist the city in pursuing the gold certification through the Atlanta Regional Commission. What we're proposing here as part of this incentive program is expedited review, reduction of the building permit fee by 15%, and market incentives, including recognition at a city council meeting for those builders that decide to build green. Staff's recommendation is approval.
I have a reluctance on this one just because I feel like some of our incentives might be coercion to something that may be onerous on a business. I'm all in favor of businesses and residences being as green as possible, but it's not always possible to meet these standards. And I know we do have a goal to be a green city, and I think that's admirable as well, but I just worry that we might put too much on our businesses that they can't manage.
Councilmember Price to any specific language which makes it clear that this is a voluntary program. And that might help with her decision.
The title of the resolution says that a resolution established a voluntary building green policy to support the Building Green Incentive Program and the use of community solar elements. It is entirely voluntary. It is entirely up to that builder to pursue the green certification. And it's not something that we're requiring, or it's not something that we're insisting that a builder pursues.
The fact that it's in the title, sometimes titles can be misleading. I know that's an old-time stunt of some politicians, none that we ever use in Roswell. Mr. Davidson, is there some language in the ordinance itself that makes it clear that this is voluntary? Not in the title, but in the ordinance itself. And if not, could we add some language that would make Councilmember Price happier with this? Yes.
Yeah, my issue is not the voluntary nature of it, it's the incentives that may be coercive.
All right. So they feel that they're not getting the incentives, that they're somehow coerced because other folks are getting the incentives.
Correct.
Okay, I understand. I apologize, I misunderstood. I understand your objection. Mr. DiPolito.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Ms. Wakefield, the fee rebate, is it 15% of the fee?
It's 15% of the building permit fee.
Which is typically what for a house?
Roughly anywhere from $1,500 to $2,000.
So they would get $300?
Yes, sir.
and their costs are probably in the tens of thousands to do green building.
Yes, sir.
So it's kind of a token gesture, really. There's not a significant.
It is not a significant incentive. Yes, sir.
And I'm not criticizing it.
No.
I'm just trying to acknowledge the
Yes.
fact that although it's an incentive, it's really not a financial advantage for them to do this. It's actually really something that they would do because they want to have green building.
It's something that they truly desire.
Right. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Councilmember Price.
Is there anything in the ordinance, the proposed ordinance, though, that would limit or govern the incentives, or is that something that could be changed at any time?
The council could either add to or detract from these at any time. Now, once the incentive is earned, I don't think you could do it after the fact, but as far as from the date of the change, I think it affects it, but that's the true of any ordinance and any decision this council makes.
The incentives, though, are not spelled out in the ordinance.
The
They're in the
incentives are in the resolution.
And in the resolution, are these incentives spelled out?
Yes, sir.
And that is part of the permanent ordinance that would require council change?
Yes, ma'am. It would require change by council.
Councilmember Price, the example is when we set fees by resolution, not by ordinance, so that it does not take two readings. So in this case, we could change incentives by resolution just as we could change fees by resolution, but they both would go through the same process.
And that's my concern.
I understand your concern. Any other questions before I entertain a motion or comments? Do we have a motion?
Move to approve.
Motion for approval by Councilmember Diamond. Is there a second? Second by Councilmember Wynn. Does anyone in the audience have any questions or comments? Any further discussion by council? All in favor of the motion, raise their hands. That's Councilmember Orleans, Eichelhart, Wynn, DiPolito, and Diamond in favor. All opposed. Councilmember Price passes 5-1.
Thank you.
Now we're on to the Transportation Department liaison, Councilmember Betty Price.
Oops, I lost my page here. The first item is approval for the mayor and/or city administrator to sign a contract with Parsons Brinkerhoff for design of the new State Road 400 northbound early off-ramp project in the amount of $476,919. Director of Transportation Steve Asenbrack will give us the details.
Thank you, Councilmember Price. Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council, good evening. This is a very exciting project for our city. Just a brief orientation of what this is. This is Georgia 400. North is to the top of this graphic, and in the intersection of State Route 140, which we know as Holcomb Bridge Road. We had done a corridor study, as you'll recall, and we identified a number of improvements that we wanted to do to relieve some congestion and improve the economic viability of this very busy corridor and intersection. We came up, actually one of our staff members, Andrew Antweiler, came up with a concept of an early off-ramp. We currently have a northbound off-ramp which leads to eastbound Holcomb Bridge Road. If we segregate and split the traffic early so that the traffic that's on or wants to get to, say, Market Boulevard doesn't have to intersperse with the State Route 140 traffic, that way we could alleviate some of the congestion. Also adds some economic vitality by adding a number of new trips to this, what we call the southeast quadrant. So this project will improve traffic flow, will greatly improve the economic viability of that area. It will probably shorten some travel times for some of our residents, which is always a good thing, reducing some pollution in the air. So there's a number of very valuable aspects to this. The city, in doing its design, put out a solicitation. We had 16 proposals. We do a qualifications-based selection. We shortlisted 4 firms, and we interviewed the firm that we selected, the most qualified firm we believe is Parsons Brinkerhoff. One thing I'd like to point out is that in our interview process, we did some research with Georgia DOT, and to our knowledge, this will be the first early off-ramp in the state of Georgia. There are some in North Carolina and Florida that we're aware of. There may be one in Georgia, but we don't know of it. So this could be a first. It certainly is not a very common thing in the state, but it will certainly be a lot of eyes on this project to see. We trust that this will be a very valuable project for our city.
Mr. Eisenbach, what are we estimating the total cost of the construction and the design?
We had budgeted $500,000 for the design. We estimate the construction price will be around $3 million. And the timeline, the estimated construction, we believe this will take probably on the order of about 2 years to design, so we're thinking summer of 2015. This is a bond project, so we are anxious to move forward with it as quickly as possible.
We hope not to hold you up.
Thank you very much.
Any other questions from council? Do we have a motion?
I have one question.
Yes, ma'am.
Regarding the construction cost, is that covered in the bond as well?
It's paid for by the bond.
Right. So it's all encompassed with the bond monies we've already approved?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Move to approve the signing of a contract with Parsons Brinkerhoff to design the early off-ramp.
Motion by Councilmember Price. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember DiPolito. Does anyone in the audience have any questions or comments? Any further discussion by council? All in favor of the motion, raise their hands. Passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Mr. Eisenbach, I'd like to compliment Andrew Antweiler, the Roswell Transportation Department, the City of Council for their wisdom in hiring y'all and approving this, and the citizens of Roswell for funding this through the bond issue. It's going to be a great project, and it'll be a model for the state of Georgia.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'd like to hear from our city attorney.
Thank you, Mayor. First item I have is approval for the mayor and/or city administrator to sign a renewal contract with Trident Insurance Services, LLC, for property and casualty insurance for the period May 1st, 2013 to April 30th, 2014 in the amount of $695,290 to include national flood insurance, program coverage, and catastrophic inmate medical coverage.
All right, and did we see competitive prices on this?
Yes, Mayor. Through our broker, we went out for proposals. We had 2 quotes. Trident was by far the lowest quote. We are comfortable with their service that they've provided over the last couple of years, and we recommend going forward with Trident.
Do we have a motion? Councilmember Wynn moves for approval. Is there a second? Councilmember Diamond approves for a second. Does any other questions about this? Does anyone in the audience have any questions or comments? All in favor of the motion, raise their hand. Yes. Do we have a question?
Yeah, the National Flood Insurance Program, how does that compare to what we've had before, or have we had that before?
Actually, the National Flood Insurance is a requirement in order to keep River Landing insured through Trident. We have to have the National Flood Insurance.
I mean, since when?
The last 2 years, I believe.
And like, how does that compare, though, like to just a private insurance? Or
well, our Trident, we also have flood insurance, but we're required to have the national flood insurance to the maximum amount, which is the $12,000. Then our Trident insurance would pick up anything over that.
So that extra $12,000 goes where? I mean, is it a federal program?
Yes, it's a federal program.
So it goes to Uncle Sam?
I'm not sure, to be honest with you.
It goes to the flood insurance program. It goes to
somebody in the federal government. Once it goes to the federal
government, you would have a better idea than us.
I'm just trying to figure out, was our insurance not adequate, or we just have to have it?
No, we have to have it in order to have our insurance cover that building because it's in a floodplain.
So once again, a coercion, more or less.
Those are your words.
Thank you.
It's the only insurance available. So if we don't get the federal insurance, then flood insurance is not available. All right, so we have any other questions? Does anyone in the audience have any questions or comments? All in favor of the motion, raise their hands. That passes unanimously.
The only other item I have is a recommendation for closure to discuss personnel and real estate.
All in favor of the closure to discuss real estate, raise your hands. Mr. Orleans? Well, I didn't see the left. We've got a majority in favor of closure. We're going to have closure, regardless of abstentions or questions. Yes, Councilmember Price has a comment?
Just have a point of personal privilege. I just encourage everybody to look at the exhibit in the rotunda that was put together by Teresa Killian as a Girl Scout Gold Award. Nice display of women in Roswell, historical depiction.
I thank you for calling that to our attention. It is a great exhibit, and I have looked at it, but I haven't spent much time there, so I expect to go back and look at it again. We're adjourned.